There are characters who get hurt, and then there are characters who feel hurt. And Lisa Simpson has never just been bruised, she's been changed. For decades, she's carried the invisible wounds of a girl who sees the world too clearly, too deeply, and far too young. Because while Springfield is built for comedy, Lisa Simpson lives in it like it's real. Today, we're exploring the episodes where Lisa experiences emotional trauma. Not just funny misfortune, but moments that could genuinely scar a child. And what each one reveals about her identity, resilience, and heartbreak. At just 8 years old in Moaning Lisa, she wakes up with something rare for a child sitcom character: existential despair. There's no punchline, no goofy injury, just sadness without explanation. She tries to communicate it, but every adult gives her something unhelpful: a distraction, a command, or a therapy worksheet disguised as a school pep talk. She's surrounded by people who love her, but nobody actually understands her. At school, she's told to smile. At home, she's told to cheer up. The message becomes clear: your sadness is inconvenient. So she leaves, physically and emotionally, to find her space, ending up meeting Bleeding Gums Murphy, the only character who ever asks her why she feels the way she does, instead of telling her how to fix it. For a young child, this is the birth of emotional isolation. This is Lisa's first encounter with a lifelong theme: intelligence won't save you from loneliness. She returns home, but she isn't fixed. She simply learns that sadness is allowed to exist, even if nobody else gets it. And that theme becomes the foundation of her emotional world. In Lisa's Substitute, she meets Mr. Bergstrom, a compassionate, enthusiastic teacher who validates her emotions and curiosity. For the first time, Lisa isn't weird, she's seen. She opens her heart to this new mentor figure, believing he represents the future she wants for herself: empathetic, thoughtful, and intellectually alive. But he leaves, abruptly, without warning, reminding her that the things she loves most tend to disappear. The moment she chases him to the train station, pleading like a child who isn't ready to lose something precious, is one of the most emotionally raw scenes in early Simpsons history. Realistically, this moment could create attachment trauma. She learns, people who understand me do not stay. When he hands her the note, "You are Lisa Simpson," it's touching, but it's also proof she needed his affirmation to believe it at all. This becomes a permanent part of her psyche. Validation is rare, love is temporary. Intelligence cannot protect the heart. Bart vs. Thanksgiving shows Lisa preparing a heartfelt centerpiece, honoring the women in history who shaped society during a holiday about gratitude, warmth, and family unity. Bart destroys it, not intentionally, but carelessly, and perhaps that's worse. Instead of empathy, Lisa is told she's overreacting. Her feelings are dismissed, and Bart is temporarily framed as the misunderstood victim. She cries alone in her room, not because the centerpiece is gone, but because nobody cared. Children don't need agreement, they need acknowledgement. Lisa experiences emotional invalidation, which research links to long-term anxiety and perfectionism. She does get an apology, but it's late, pressured, and motivated more by guilt than understanding, teaching her that closure isn't always healing. Sometimes it's just over. In summer of 4 Feet 2, school ends and the Simpson family heads to the beach. Lisa sees this as her chance to reinvent herself away from the identity she never asked for, the overachieving outcast. She hides her intelligence, dresses differently, and tries to become the kind of cool kid she thinks others will accept. It works temporarily. She makes friends, laughs, and feels normal, finally tasting social belonging. Until Bart exposes her diary, revealing her entire effort was desperation disguised as confidence. Lisa doesn't cry because they saw her diary. She cries because they finally saw her, and it wasn't on her terms. This is identity trauma, the belief that your true self is unlikable. Many kids experience this, but Lisa is old enough to understand it, making the wound deeper. Her new friends accept her anyway, but that doesn't undo the humiliation or fear that authenticity can be weaponized. In the episode Lisa vs. Malibu Stacy, she discovers that the new Malibu Stacy doll reinforces sexist stereotypes and mocks women's intelligence. She tries to change the system by creating a new doll, one that encourages girls to be smart, bold, curious, and unapologetically ambitious. For a moment, she succeeds, until Malibu Stacy launches a new version with a new hat, immediately destroying Lisa's meaningful movement with meaningless marketing. The crowd rushes to the shallow product, not the revolutionary one. This is Lisa learning a brutal adult truth. Society doesn't always reject you because you're wrong. Sometimes it rejects you because ignorance is more comfortable. This event plants a seed of moral exhaustion, the kind activists, innovators, and thinkers feel when the world chooses convenience over progress. Her doll becomes a forgotten footnote. Lisa experiences her first taste of legacy anxiety. What if what I create never matters? In Lisa's Sax, we finally see the origin of Lisa's relationship with her saxophone, the emotional outlet that becomes her anchor. We learn she was extremely advanced academically at a young age, but instead of receiving support, she was placed in a school system not built for her. Music, specifically jazz, becomes her escape. The tragic sting arrives when her saxophone is smashed years later, symbolizing the destruction of the only coping mechanism she fully trusts. She isn't just losing an instrument, she's losing her emotional translator. This is the trauma of losing your coping identity. Like if a writer lost their ability to write or a dancer lost their mobility. The sax is eventually replaced, but replacement is not restoration. Some attachments can be recreated physically, but never spiritually. In Make Room for Lisa, she is forced to give up her bedroom so Homer can host a cellular tower installment, prioritizing his own convenience and obligations over her emotional space. She's relocated into Bart's room, losing privacy and personal sanctuary. Her stress becomes so heavy that she undergoes a sensory deprivation experience, where she hallucinates her deepest insecurities, the belief that she must adapt to others, even at the cost of herself. This episode highlights identity dissolution, the psychological damage of not having a safe space to exist. For many children, a bedroom is not just a room, it's the only place where they can control their reality. Homer apologizes emotionally and they bond, but the underlying fear remains. If the world demands it, Lisa believes she must shrink. In the more recent episode, Lisa's Belly, after indulging in amusement park snacks, Lisa suddenly becomes aware of her stomach. Marge casually calls Lisa chunky, intending it as a harmless, affectionate comment, but Lisa absorbs it as criticism and begins to judge herself through it. She spirals into body insecurity despite being a child, mirroring real-world beauty standards that target younger and younger ages. She becomes self-conscious and begins evaluating her worth through appearance. This is body image trauma, subtle but powerful, and extremely relevant to modern audiences. Words, especially from parents, become permanent wallpaper in a child's mind. Homer comforts her, but the episode highlights a painful truth. Love doesn't erase words, it only tries to drown them out. Across these episodes, a tragic pattern forms. She seeks connection, but receives dismissal. She seeks validation, but receives abandonment. She seeks identity, but receives ridicule. She seeks progress, but receives apathy. She seeks safety, but receives disruption. She seeks belonging, but receives betrayal. She seeks acceptance, but receives conditions. Lisa Simpson's trauma is not comedic bad luck. It's a portrait of the gifted child burden. Gifted children aren't hurt because they're weak. They're hurt because they feel while also understanding. And that makes pain sharper. So Lisa is not broken because she feels too much. The world is broken because it feels too little. Maybe that's why Lisa resonates with us so deeply decades later.